Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Fantastic show. I really regret not giving this show the attention I now feel it deserves when it was originally airing. I was a huge Next Gen fan, and I really loved the show. And the idea of Deep Space Nine, at first, I really didn't get it. What kind of adventures can they go on a station where they don't go anywhere? They're just hanging around in one place. And I remember watching the pilot. I think I was too young to really get it. I just felt like I was waiting for something to happen, and the whole time nothing did. But then many years down the road, I'd be on the internet and you'd see little random, clips of random TV shows taken out of context and, like reaction shots and stuff. And it's those little memes that make the internet a great place. And I started coming across a whole bunch of Deep Space Nine ones, and it had all these great little 1 and 2 minute moments that just had so much heart, and I just fell in love with the characters in the span of just those 2 or 3 minutes. And I actually thought that those Deep Space Nine clips out of context were so much better than a lot of the TNG clips that were, presented in the same way, which really got me thinking there must be something to this Deep Space Nine thing that I missed the first time around. So, you get the DVDs and you binge watch, and oh man, that show benefits so much from the current streaming binging way of television watching that people do these days. Back when it was airing on TV, you'd have that week wait in between episodes, and I think people would lose track of a lot of the subtleties and the characters and the unimportant things. Deep Space Nine does a really excellent job of a B story from one episode will set up the A story for the next. They have those fun, silly, non-serious episodes, but they actually introduce major elements that will come into play later on. It's great for those kind of watching intently and picking out Easter eggs. I regret being so late to the party for this show. When I watch Emissary now, I no longer feel like it's lacking something. I just realize what great sci-fi that episode really is. It's the only Trek pilot, in my opinion, that is actually great sci-fi. Like TNG, Deep Space Nine, just the characters, they're great. But one thing that I love about this show is the villains. Gul Dukat, in my opinion, beats out Khan for best villain ever. He's just so well developed. Such an interesting, great character. Deep Space Nine was also when CGI just started being good enough that it could be used, so we got these amazing epic battle scenes that were completely unheard of and probably impossible in Next Gen. So going back and watching it, in my opinion, it holds up incredibly well. I really hope they eventually come out with a Blu-ray edition like they did for Next Gen, because the Next Gen Blu-ray is, oh my god, spectacular. It really seems like a project that was done out of love for the series rather than love for money, like certain other special editions of other sci-fi franchises with the word star in the front. There are ways to remaster something and do it right, and Trek did it great, and I think DS9 is a show that deserves the same treatment, so please throw us a Blu-ray here, people. Well, and by Blu-ray I mean digital files, because who watches movies on shiny discs anymore? One of the elements about Deep Space Nine I find most interesting is the way it deals with issues like terrorism. The entire show occurred before September 11th, and I feel that 9/11 really changed the nature of the way terrorism is discussed. People approach it very differently now, and I feel like Deep Space Nine was able to approach the subject with far more nuance and subtlety and really see things from both perspectives in a way that I don't think we would get anymore about if a show tried to deal with similar themes these days. When you watch it, it doesn't come off as naive or simple-minded. It deals with the ugly very well. It still leaves room for you to sympathize with both sides on the issue. You can still pick apart both issues. It's handled in a very nice, very well-balanced way. And if the show was in production now, I don't think they'd be able to deal with those issues as well as they did. I think that our current sensibilities wouldn't allow that. It's a show where a lot of the issues it tackled, they feel like they're becoming more relevant as time progresses. Anyway, I'm going to head on over and check out some Deep Space Nine, because I think it's the most, I find it to be the most rewatchable. So let's rewatch it.